Well, we were bad. Like, we were very bad. So I like, we only played, I think, 3 shows, and they were very like, as soon as a band gets popular, all of a sudden they're like, everyone hates them. It's like, with the whole Sleep Token thing, like, whoa, like, everyone needs to relax. Like, everyone can like what they like, and there's room for everybody. Everyone can relax. But My Chemical Romance is classic rock, boys and girls.
Oh,
That makes me want to like roll over and just go into my grave right now.
yeah,
But
I'm already dead.
we're dead already.
Lauren Babic is one of those rare talents who has as strong a singing voice as they do scream vocal ability as well. Both of those things are top of the metalcore game level of quality. Now, known historically for her part in the band Red Handed Denial, but also the vast plethora of vocal covers you can find on the internet as well. Earlier this year, they ventured into a solo career with a debut EP by the name of Too Much and Never Enough. And I'm delighted to have some time now to talk to Lauren about that EP and her music in general. So welcome. Thank you for your time here. Now, having created music for several years, what's been the main catalyst that has meant that this moment has been the time for you to go, I'm going to create my own original music under my own name?
Um, it was a lot of acceptance, I think, and a lot of just coming to terms with some doors closing, some doors opening, and just like time, I think, and a lot of imposter syndrome. Um, and feeling like I kind of spread myself a little thin between just so many different like baskets. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to recenter myself and just kind of recharge and recenter. So that's kind of like been my journey pretty much since, I would say, like the end of COVID. Like, it was just this like journey of recentering myself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might surprise people continuously to hear people that are very successful saying things like, oh, it's imposter syndrome, because you've got so many views and you got all the subscriptions and the rest, but people can forget, well, there's a human being underneath it all. You have no
Yeah.
idea what goes into that side of things. How are you with that now? Are you, having released this, are you feeling a little bit less of that? You're feeling like, actually, this has gone well. I'm pleased with how this is going.
I'm really happy with how people received it, because I think up until now, I've kind of been super proud of just the organic growth that I've achieved. And I've done like pretty much everything I've ever released has always been like self funded and with like barely any marketing. So just seeing where this EP would go organically and like grassroots, I think um my existing listeners and anyone new who came on board was like really kind and really wonderful in receiving it. And it was kind of like a almost just like a statement to myself, like, hey, I can do this. Like, I'm still here, and I'm gonna do this and push forward in this new way, in this new era. So I'm slowly like being okay with just like making originals under my own name, and I think everyone's been really helpful with that.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds almost like you're reluctant to accept, oh, actually, this is
Yes.
going well, but
I've been like very resistant over, I mean, I think I've been doing this since like 2009, like since I was really young, and I've been so resistant to like embrace me as an artist, and I've always wanted to do the band thing, and I think like it just took a little bit of time to like come to terms with like, okay, I think people are vibing with this. I think I can push forward with this. Yeah.
is that partly because so much of what you've done on the internet and your channel is covers, that you can then go, well, people like this
Yeah.
because of the original. It's not me
Yeah.
that's the reason they're watching this video so often.
Yeah, and I think like coming from the band world and also the cover world, it felt like almost like, okay, but if I do this, if I push forward with like Lauren Babic originals, like, is anyone gonna give a shit, or is it gonna sound too much like Red Handed Denial? Like, could it have just been a Red Handed Denial release? And I think there was just a lot of like things that I had to get over and getting in my own way about that and just like do the thing, just put the thing out, you know? So it was good. I think I'm in a place now where mentally I feel good about it.
Great. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny how there could be so many reasons not to do something that you tend to let them drown things
Yeah.
out sometimes, but that the
We get in our
adventure
own
is
way.
just do it.
Yeah, we get in our own way a lot of the time, and also I think over time, and I think it's better now, but um this whole stigma of like, oh well, you did covers on YouTube, you're not real or like legitimate. And I think when TikTok exploded and all of a sudden being a content creator was super cool and sought after, like going through the trenches of like the label YouTuber being like an insult, like it was just like I was going through like this emotional whiplash and like identity whiplash. It's like, yeah, but I've been resistant of being called a YouTuber for like 10 years, but now it's like cool. So I was just like, what is happening? So it's whatever. I think it's just been a journey of like, I don't care anymore. Just do what you like. you know?
Well, that's good, and clearly it's paying off. The first song off this EP I heard was Sanctuary, and the groove in that with the
Thank
guitar
you.
riffs and the drum fills are obscene. Now, as the vocalist and I presume key songwriter there, how much are you at the whim of whatever guitarists are coming your way for most of the songs, or are
Yeah.
you injecting your own thoughts into that? How does the instrumentation for these songs come about?
Yeah, so the EP was I worked with Lee Albrecht on Sanctuary and Breathe You In, and then Adam Bentley on I'm Bored and Let It Die. And they're both like incredible guitarists in their own right. Like they have their own like skill set. And I've been working with both of them for a really long time. So with Sanctuary, I'm pretty hands-on with my songwriting. I was in Grand Rapids with Lee and we kind of were just sitting in his studio and I have like a guitar with me and I'm just messing around with some chord progressions and I wanted like almost like a break beaty type chorus that was a little like it had movement but the chords are strung out. So it was I wanted this contrast of like, okay, let's do some ethereal, very pretty vocal on top of like a very busy, like energetic drum beat with like almost like Linkin Park style strung out chords that were like very grounded. So just messing around with like chord progressions and then I was like, "Okay, Lee, can you just write a sick riff?" and then that was the intro riff. And cuz I'm more like a feelsy like chord progression guitarist. I don't riff, but I know what a riff should sound like in my brain. I just can't play it. So Lee and Adam are like the riff masters, and I kind of I'm just like I'm ideating, like okay, can you play something like that? And they're just like yup, and then they just like noodle it. Uh, so yeah, Lee came up with that intro riff, which just like smacks you in the face, and yeah, it was a very very collaborative process on the whole song.
Yeah, he certainly did write a sick riff. It's
Yeah,
fucking amazing. But also, what I loved about that song was kind of the surprising choice in the chorus, because I think the typical expected thing to do would be to have big belting vocals for that chorus, but it's quite gentle. There's a sort of
yeah.
ethereal nature to it. How much was that a premeditated decision? This is how I want this chorus to be as an interesting twist, or did that just naturally progress in that way?
It took me like 4 months to decide how to sing it because I think the nature of my voice and the things that I've done up until now have been very like 3000% like sing at the cusp of your vocal break all the time, like do these massive like belted vocal. But I just moving forward with my solo stuff, like I want to showcase more range and more dynamics in a single like song. So I I took a risk there vocally, even though technically it's not as like ambitious to do these massive belted notes. Like I wanted it to be more intimate and just have something that was a little more unexpected from me. So it took a while to be like, yeah, but is falsetto copping out or does it sound really good for the part? And I was like, no, we're gonna go with something pretty, something a little more unexpected. But I think it served the purpose of the song for sure.
Yes. There's quite a lot of range on this EP. The song that follows that one, Breathe You In, is a lovely gentle with pop moments in the verses. And then afterwards is the most preposterously heavy song in I'm Bored, which starts out like, okay, great, we're gonna have a heavy metalcore kind of song, cool. But it leads into almost like a comical level with the cough kind of break there, and then
Yeah.
the insane heaviness towards the end. Did that start from the point of view of I want to write a kind of heavy song, or how soon did you go, fuck it, let's throw in a cough, let's get wild with
No,
this?
I went when I was with Adam, I was like, okay, I sat down fresh with nothing in the DAW, and I was like, we're writing an ignorant heavy song. And it's meant to be comical. Like it's meant to be almost like a satirical statement on deathcore and like where it's gone. Um and just to do my own version and just have fun with it, because I've never done a song like that before, and I've never really done like those types of screams before on a recording. So I was like, okay, let's give everyone whiplash and put the heaviest song immediately after the lightest song. Cause like, why be boring and not do that? Like, I don't know. It was funny. Like we had fun with that one.
Yeah, that is an absolute treat. I'm surprised to hear like you've not done that kind of style of vocal stream before, because it is so full bodied and it entirely works as if you've been doing that for a long time. That really works. So that song was excellent.
Thank you.
There's a moment of your vocals. I was listening to a Red Handed Nile song called One More Night, and there's a go call out, and I love a go call out.
We love
I
a
think it's
go.
Jonathan Davis. They're great, but typically they tend to be sort of like a rounded like go. Yours has this wonderful human end to it. It's like go, although it sounds less like Christopher Walken when you do it, but like how
Go.
go like mosh disrespect your surroundings. How did you have a particular intention of a way you want to deliver a go or a call out? Where did this natural tail end come from? And that's something you've had to like kind of accept and go like, actually, I like the identity of that.
I think it was just the nature of the take, and we were just like, let's just keep that. It sounds cool. Like I don't think I intended on doing that, but I it just happened, and then we kept it, and I was like, that's cool.
That's where the
Yeah,
gold lies.
that's really it.
I understood from a previous interview I saw you do that you auditioned for Red Handed Denial without knowing if you could sing or scream.
Yeah.
I was curious that how has that come from a place of you were born with incredible confidence? You're like, I'll figure it out. Or was it purely compulsion? Like I have to fucking find a way to be in a band somehow.
It was that, and I was a little bit of a rebel when I was younger because my parents, I'm not saying they forced me to go to college, but like the rhetoric in my family was very like, you get an education, you get your degree. And so I was like, well, if I'm going to go to college, I'm joining a band and I'm not going to say shit to anybody. So I kind of grew up in very formal music settings. Like I was doing conservatory piano and I was doing concert band in high school. Everything was so formal. And at those times I was listening to like Linkin Park and The Used, and I was just like, I have this like monster in me that I have to like release somewhere. So I found a classified ad on MySpace and I walked into the audition and I was like, I think I can do this. It's fine. We'll see what happens. And then the song that they played was Blood Meat by Protest the Hero. Out of all songs, like that's
It's a
stupid,
deep cut.
stupid hard too, like a really difficult song. And I did it well enough, I guess. And then they were like, okay, you're the vocalist. So I learned how to sing and scream well with my journey through Red Handed Denial. Like it took, I wasn't already like seasoned or good or trained prior. It was just me singing in my shower kind of thing. And so it's definitely like a fake it till you make it uh type story. Um so yeah, like I just went full send and pretended I knew what I was doing and learned how to do it as I was in the band and played live with them. So
Perfectly valid way of doing it. I think that's wonderful. In the audition, was it a case of you were in like a rehearsal space with speakers and a mic, or were you just in a room? Because a voice, until you sing through a mic, it sounds a bit different when it's coming
yeah,
out from.
yeah. It was just a rehearsal space that they like booked out for the evening, and they had a couple other vocalists come out, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna pretend to know what to do, and just went for it. And I think though I there was enough like knowledge and rawness, like raw talent there. Like I knew I could sing, I knew I could hold a pitch. It was just like dropping myself in that setting and um mustering up the courage to actually like do that in front of people, because I had never done any of that in front of anybody before, other than myself. So it was just a like, fuck it, let's go type moment.
Well, it's gone well, I would say, as a result. So, but before that, I understand you were in a ska band
Yeah.
playing trumpet as well, right? I've been in a couple of ska bands in my 20s. I was wondering what, if anything, have you taken from that world forward with you? Is there a musicality or an energy on stage that you kind of got from that, or tightness of musicianships having to come together, especially when it comes to brass? Like, what have you taken from
Um
the ska world?
well, we were bad. Like we were very bad. So I like we only played I think 3 shows, and they were very like battle of the bandsy type thing. And I think like when you're young like that, when you're 16, 15, 16, you think you're like the best ever. Like everyone thinks they're hot shit. And I think that I think that experience just taught me like, no, you actually suck. Like you need to like swallow your pride a little bit and touch grass, and like you need to actually hone your craft because you're actually bad. Like that's literally what I learned from that ska band, is that I'm bad and I need to be better.
It is an invaluable lesson. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a more of a concern. I think with as the generations go on, people are like, if the more you do online, where you can refine things with
Yeah.
Pro Tools and the rest, and you get this idea of what you are, because what you represent in the world, and you go on stage, and it's like, if the click track breaks, can you still do this? It's like,
Yeah,
don't
there
know.
was no we had no click. There was no click. That's not that back then in like 2005, that was not punk rock if you played to click. So it was a hot mess. But it was a fun hot mess. It was a good time. Like the band's name was Dinosaur Roar,
Great.
and I think we were like a 7-piece. It was like insane. It was just like the most giant band ever, and it was a good time. I think I learned a lot. It was just like growing pains type thing. Like you gotta go through that to sort of like evolve and elevate and just get better at what you do. So it was a good time.
Nice. You mentioned inspirations there from the likes of The Used. I understand My Chemical Romance as well at the same time. What was it about those bands of that era that drew you in to like actually want to get more into darker, heavier kind of side of rock music?
I think it was just how I connected to the lyrics and the energy and just the sentiment of that type of music. Like like I said, like I grew up in a household that was very resistant to me following my passions, and it was like, you can't, it's like, what do you mean you want to join a band and do that? You can't do that. Like you're gonna be poor and hooked on drugs. Like and that was the sentiment I kind of grew up with. So it brewed this like hatred and rebellion and like the need to go against the grain and prove myself like, no, I can do this regardless of like what you tell me. So I felt like I was split in two for a very long time. Like I have to make other people happy, but like I'm suffering at the expense of that. So it was a lot of like a push and pull. So bands like that gave me an outlet and allowed me to kind of connect to sort of like pain and being rejected and feeling just like the black sheep of the family. And um it wasn't even, oh, I want to do this. It was like, I need to do this to survive. Like I can't live without a creative outlet. And over time my family saw that. Like now they're super supportive and they're just like, okay, you're fine now. Like you're good. It only took like 15 years for them to come to terms with it, but yeah, that music was really important to me discovering like I live and breathe music. Like I need it in my life.
I can
Mm-hmm.
definitely relate to some of what you're saying. I grew up in a very strict Catholic family. My
Yeah.
first instrument was piano.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And then eventually I'm like, I'm really liking this rock stuff. Can I learn drums? And I'm like,
Hmm.
But yeah. And then you got bands, yeah, like The Used or My Chem or Linkin Park, where it's like, you know what? There are others that can relate to how I'm feeling. And actually, there's power in this. There's a bit of
Mm-hmm.
strength and fire. And you want some of that. Are there any particular vocalists that around that time either you were trying to emulate in your own way or thinking like, if I could be like that,
Yeah.
that's the path for me?
I think Spencer and Aaron from Under Oath, like they're like part of the reason why I can sing and scream. Like I would spend hours and hours listening to like Define the Great Line and They're Only Chasing Safety, and I would work on like trying to emulate Spencer's screams, and that's kind of how I learned. And you can see it in like my very first YouTube videos. Like a lot of it was Under Oath and also Memphis Mayfire. Like Matty Mullins was a huge inspiration to me early on because he was a vocalist that could do both, uh, singing and screaming equally as well. And he's one of the most, to this day, like one of the most consistent and just vocal health wise, like an incredible vocalist. And he's just, listening to like Challenger and that album was super important to my vocal development. So, and there's so many more. Like Spencer Sotelo from Periphery was a huge one for me because he was another one who could do singing and screaming just at a whole other level. So those are a few to just spitball off the top of my head.
Well, they sound like good ones to follow for sure. I also I recall there was something you were saying in an interview before about the kind of lines that were drawn between people who liked My Chem and others who liked Avenged. And it's like,
Yeah.
you learn over time. Do you know what? We weren't that different, actually,
No.
the kind of the things. But like, do you remember when you started to go, hang on, maybe I can just enjoy whatever I want to enjoy?
I think like when we're in high school and we're like 14, I think it's like everyone's kind of protective over the music they listen to. And I call it like back then it was like the alternative press people versus the revolver people. It was like the two magazines, they would represent two different subcultures of like metalcore and emo. And I was definitely like in the emo camp, like like scary kids scaring kids and like that, like Chiodos and Emery and that crowd. So I kind of missed the boat on like the kill switch engages and the bullet for my Valentine's. Like I missed that part because in my school, for whatever reason, those two crowds would like fight, like butt heads, and they're like, yeah, but Avenged Sevenfold is dad rock. That's like butt rock. It's for old people. And it's like we listen to the Used and it's like who cares? Who gives a shit? So like I missed that whole boat because of like corny, immature high school shit. So I'm circling back to that stuff now. And it's been cool to do like a rediscovery of like almost like the hard rock new metal um subgenres back from like the mid 2000s, and I've learned so much just like opening that whole door. um and yeah, it's I think that still exists now though, because I think gatekeepers are still alive and well, like they're very alive and well, and it just, I think it just manifests in different ways now. um as soon as a band gets popular, all of a sudden they're like, everyone hates them. It's like, with the whole Sleep Token thing, like, whoa, like everyone needs to relax. Like everyone can like what they like, and there's room for everybody. Everyone can relax. But I think that exists at all times in every genre. It's just, I think the metal fans can get very annoying about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a story as old as time,
Yes.
and it will never really learn the lesson.
No.
The only way you learn is you age out of it. You see the new cycle of a new band and go, wait a minute, I've been here before. Actually, maybe this isn't cringe.
Yeah.
Maybe I just don't understand it yet. And then, but when you're going through your teens, you're like, this is my identity. So I'm going to fight to the core against anything else. And the bigger and more successful a band is, the more they will be hated. It happened with Linkin Park when I was a teenager. I'm like, oh, really? Like, but then those end up being the bands that are the most respected in the future.
Yes, they become the legacy bands. And I think like when a band kind of breaks out of the scene, like they transcend, kind of like, what Bring Me the Horizon's done, what Falling in Reverse has done, and now Sleep Token, I think Spirit Box is like very on the way to doing that. And I think once they transcend, and then like people outside, like the normies, all of a sudden know who they are, it's like, yeah, but I knew them when they were like, and it's like, who cares? Like
what?
You should like want a band to get to that level. Like you should want them to succeed, because it's just more music for us. It's more creativity and more art for us. So like, I don't care. It took some time. I think everyone goes through that when they're younger, but yeah, it's cool to see when a band breaks out of the scene and all of a sudden they go mainstream. Like I think that's cool as fuck. Like seeing Bring Me the Horizon collab with like Ed Sheeran and stuff, like, and Aurora, like that's so cool to me.
Yeah, that gets me so fucking excited, because all it means is you're going to get more kids discovering for potentially in both directions. Some people might then become an Ed Sheeran fan, for example, who are only listening to metal. It can go both ways, but there's something in either direction you go so exciting about discovering this new world of music you've never touched before, and be like, what is all this? And you dive into that. So I'd love for more people to experience that, and those moments create that.
Exactly. And it's such a good, and I think MGK got a lot of flack for like all of a sudden changing genres, but like we have to remember, like he was so pivotal for a lot of the young kids getting into to like alt music and punk and rock, and like I think there's just this weird protection that we have over our genre, that we're like, it's ours and no one's allowed in. But I'm stoked when like new people are brought into the genre. Like it's just really cool to see. And I think even now it's getting so big, like with the When We Were Young festival, like these massive festivals of all these legacy bands, but they were the bands that we listened to in high school. Like to see Pierce the Veil on these types of stages, it's like so cool. I'm so about it.
Yeah, I have to not. I still haven't progressed in my head to think of them as like veteran bands, because in my head I'm still 15 and they're still like 18. I'm like, oh yeah, of course we want to go see like the starting line at these festivals, but it's like they're now probably in their 40s, and I heard someone describe Arctic Monkeys as classic rock the other day, and I nearly died on the spot. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean classic rock? What do you mean?
My Chemical Romance is classic rock, boys and girls.
Oh,
that makes me want to like roll over and just go into my grave right now. But
I'm already dead.
we're dead already.
Yeah, they played. I think it was Download Festival a while ago. Mike came, they headlined it, and they had Brian May from Queen come on and do like
So
guitar
sick.
stuff with him. So amazing! And at the
So
time, I was like,
sick.
"Oh, look, they got this really old veteran guy." But actually, they were probably closer to him than they were to the youth of the day. Oh, it's wild. Now,
So
changing
sick.
topic massively here, but I suppose in the thread of wisdom, one thing I was curious to find out more about is that when you're putting out music videos for like, the likes of Red Handed Denial, um, you're putting them out on your personal YouTube
Mhm.
channel. And I think that would take a great amount of humility from band members who might be more like,
Yeah.
oh, we should have our own channel, our own band. But it depends, I guess, what is it you want? If you want
Yeah.
reach, then these might be useful choice. But then how did that decision making go? Was that fairly seamless or did that take a bit of figuring out amongst yourselves?
It was actually me who was like, "Hey guys, I don't know if we should do that." Like our because we Red Handed Denial released our most recent records on like an indie label, and the label was like, "Yeah, why not put your best foot forward? Like, why not put the video out to almost 700,000 subscribers instead of like 20,000?" And I was like, "Yeah, but like, does it look weird if it's under mine?" And he's like, "Who cares? Like, the video is gonna live on YouTube regardless. Like, it doesn't matter." So I was the one resistant because, like, again, this whole process has been me resistant to like the trajectory I've been on. It's like, no, like we're gonna keep it separate. But then they're like, no, like let's piggyback off it. Like let it all be just a giant umbrella. And I was like, okay, fine, let's do that. And I think a lot of people who didn't even know I was in a band were like, "Oh, what's this?" And I'm like, "Well, I've been in this band for 10 years. Like, that's crazy that you don't know that." But I think it was at the end of the day a good move because there were people who like didn't even know I was in a band that all of a sudden were like, "Oh, here are like 4 albums that you didn't know I did." So, um, yeah, it was me being resistant for a while.
Wow. That's so surprising. I would have thought the other way around. I can absolutely see why a label would be like, yes, please, let's put it out on the platform that has the biggest eyeballs. Why would we want to do that? But then, I mean, I won't,
Yeah.
we don't have to go into this because it's too niche, I think, for the audience. But like, I'm curious, like, how would you do the financial splits on partial videos for some people, but some videos are just you yourself? I imagine there's some complications to then the
Um,
account has to become some other thing.
it's actually simpler than you'd think because when a YouTube video gets claimed by the audio,
Oh, I see. Of course.
then
Yeah. So
that
you just, your channel
solves
doesn't
it.
get the,
Yeah, like
yeah.
my channel won't get it. Like the actual sound recording, which is split amongst the band, that gets the claim. So that's kind of how we worked it out. I was like, okay, make sure to claim the video under the sound recording, and all the monetization will go where it needs to
It'll,
go. So
it'll sort it
it
out.
kind of worked out that way. Because I was like, I'm not taking 100% of this because that's not fair either. So let's just exploit the channel and the reach that it has. But the band benefits from it. So it kind of made sense, and everyone was on board with that. And that's
Nice.
kind of how it
Nice.
works with all the collabs. Like anything that goes on my channel, we make sure like it's claimed um, in some way, shape, or form, so that it like gets distributed in the way that it needs to get. Like the funds get distributed in the way that they need to, so everyone um, gets their fair share.
That's so
Yeah,
sensible. Nice and clean.
yeah.
Makes sense. One of the features you had, which I absolutely adore, is on Bill Murray's kind of cover record, the Young Blood. One of the catchiest hooks.
Such
That
a good
song. I
song.
thought, oh, it's so good. I'd love to know how that kind of feature and collaboration with Bill Murray and Johnny came about around that time.
Yeah, so the Bill Murray lore goes very deep because now they like Johnny's found such incredible success with it, and like we're all elated because the inception of Bill Murray happened in the mid 2010s, and that was when like Johnny was putting out like the old, like the old, like almost Midwest emo era of BILMURI, when he was just like making songs in his basement. And in I think it was 2017, when we were recording Crazy 88's album, we Johnny produced all my vocals, because like me, Jared Alonji, and Johnny were like pretty tight. And so we went up to Columbus, Ohio, and I recorded all of Burning Alive, all those vocals, in the space where Stick Stickly was recorded, where all the Attack Attack stuff was recorded. And at that point, like, Johnny was kind of at a crossroads with BILMURI, and he was like, is this what I should be doing? And we're just like, dude, this stuff is so good. Just give it time. Keep on your path. Like we were all like the OG BILMURI cheerleaders. And so as like Johnny was kind of figuring out his sound, and then started working with like even before he was working with Will Carlson, his like main producer, Johnny was doing everything himself. Like, he is an incredible producer, incredible mixing engineer. So he made BILMURI and Friends, and he was like, do you want to sing Youngblood on it? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, let's do it. So I recorded the vocals at my house, at my studio, just sent him. And I had no idea who was going to be on the little album. Like, I didn't know Rory was going to be on it. I didn't know like Jonathan Young and Tillian and our homies in Whalebones. Like, I think, is Whalebones on that one?
I don't know. That doesn't ring a bell, but I don't know. I'm not looking it up. So
I have to know that, because
Daysecret, No Dice, Tillian,
yeah,
Whalebones.
Whale and No Dice. And yeah, so like that scene, like all these artists, like during that time, like with Whalebones doing everything I wanted, that week that we were there recording Burning Alive, Whalebones played a show in the basement of a pizza parlor, and me, Johnny, Frank, and Jared Alonji went to that show, and I met Nate from Whalebones and Paul is their drummer, and Paul now is the TM of BILMURI. So it's like, the lore is so robust. And so like I went to a BILMURI show a couple months ago in Nashville, and just to see the growth that has happened over like 8 years, it brings me so much joy. Like, BILMURI is like, I am like the biggest BILMURI cheerleader, because like I was like, this is going to be huge. Just keep your head, stay the course, and it's going to be huge. And now with Gabby, and now with Reese and Xavier on drums, like, they dialed it in so well. And I'm just like, let's fucking go. BILMURI Nash. It's Murray Nash. So yeah, I'm a huge BILMURI fan. And so like being on that, like being part of like the early days, it's cool to be part of the lore. Like, it's very, very cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm a full passport holding member
Yes.
of the Murray Nation at this stage.
Absolutely.
I think if you come across BILMURI and you're like, I quite like this, you end up being like, you're a lifer. There's no way out. You're like, it's just too good.
There is no person on this planet that can listen to a BILMURI song and hate it. Like, yeah, I will die on that hill. Like, no person can listen to BILMURI and be like, no, you love it. You will love it. And you're going to have the best fucking time if you go to a show. The BILMURI shows are the best shows ever. You're going to have a blast. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Confirmed.
Yeah.
Confirmed. I've been lucky enough to interview Johnny and Gabby recently.
Yeah.
Actually, yesterday I talked to Rory from Daysecret. I was like, let's talk about BILMURI and Friends. That was fun. No, but yeah, BILMURI is doing tremendous things. And it's a great example to other musicians as well, that you can do your own thing. You can break the mold. And if it's good enough, eventually, enough people will kind of crowd around it. It'll
right.
Work.
And you just have to stay the course. It's like, I always say, like, the moment that you want to give up, you're gonna have a growth spurt. And I think that's been kind of my mantra, because like I feel like I've been on the precipice of like something for a while, and I've wanted to give up like a million times, but truthfully, like BILMURI has been a little bit of a lifeblood for me, because he came from uh like independent. Like he was independent. Like BILMURI was independent up until American Motorsports. And it's like that is kind of the story that I've been living too. And it's just like, if you believe in what you make and you don't give a shit about what people tell you, or you don't like try and be someone else, like if you just stay true and believe in what you make, I think like eventually someone in like the higher ups of the industry is going to be like, hey, I believe in you, come with me, and I'm going to put you in front of the right people. Because I think now with like the whole like you have to go viral to like be something, I think that's like, sure, maybe there's some truth to that, but like I still think like not following trends and not like not trying to do the fad thing, and being true to yourself will always stand the test of time. Like it will help with longevity and also burnout.
1000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, people like what is similar to something else they've liked. What they love is something different,
Yeah.
something unique.
Yeah.
And the more you lean into your own identity, the more obviously unique you'll be, because we're all unique people. And then that's going to be the thing that separates you from others.
Yeah. And that's kind of been the journey I've been going on with like my solo stuff. It's like, I think for so long, it's like, yeah, I'm going to do the band thing, and we're going to try and sound like this band, and this band had a baby, and you know, but now it's just like, let's do exactly what's going to highlight my voice and exactly like what my heart wants to do. And it's just been like pretty much since like the new batch that I've been writing, um after the EP came out. Like I think I've actually dialed in like what, like the pulse of like what, who I am as an artist and a singer. So yeah, I already have like almost an album's worth of new songs in the pipeline, and it's been just like behind the scenes, just like writing.
That's so exciting to hear, because yeah, it did seem like the EP is an exploration of the possibilities. It's like, well, I mean, you could have an album that's a longer form of exploration of all kind of things, but you know, I guess maybe you'll find your thread from there. So it sounds like you're onto something, which is exciting. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. And kind of, I call the EP a sample platter. It's like an appetizer, because I could have waited and like overcooked it or like overthought it a million times, but like I'm a person who just like put it out, release it, like don't overthink it, because I don't want my songs to like live and die in just like a folder on my computer. Like I want people to hear it. I want people to hear the growth. I don't think like a release or your first release should ever be like the perfect thing ever, aside from like Fall Out Boy, which is like everything is perfect, or Panic at the Disco. Like that's fine, they can be perfect, but like I don't think I think I love growth. I love seeing growth, and I love showing the growth.
It's more likely, as you were saying before, to be something that's sustainable that way as well. You know, I think it'd be harder if you launch onto the scene, for example, on your first album, and then everyone for the next 5 albums is like, oh, I wish they sounded. It's just like, that must be tough to wade through. You'd rather like, well, let me just grow and develop and come with me on the journey, and I can have a career forever. Like,
and like I think coming from the cover world, where like I think last year I had like, I had so many releases last year. Like so many songs came out, and I actually even felt overwhelmed. I was like, I think this is actually too much, and I felt like no body of work really was allowed to breathe for a moment. And I know like in this like singles market, it's like, no, you got to release a single every 6 weeks or whatever, and you got to release a reel every day. And it's like, I'm overwhelmed, and I think like quality over quantity. I learned the hard way last year because like I had a quantity, but like I felt overwhelmed, and I felt like I didn't give each release like their time of day to like shine. So I kind of learned from that, and transitioning into just like a little bit more of a traditional release and also just originals, the consistency is not going to be there. So it is a little bit of a recalibration, but it's really helped with like my mental, and really helped with like my creative energy, because like I really thought I was spread pretty thin last year with just all the projects that came out. Like all three bands had a release, I had a release, I had a million features. Like it was like what is happening? So um yeah, just like slowing down, giving things the time, not settling, giving my brain a break. Even though like everyone's like, Lauren, you really need to slow down. And I'm just like, yeah, but I can't. Like I get home from like a writing session for like 8 hours, and then I come home and I'm like, okay, I gotta look for album art. Like for no reason. Like I'll just continue working. It's like it's wild.
It's so difficult to
Yeah.
question your own continuous process and narrative. Like,
Yeah.
and when you do, because I had the same thing. I make content for YouTube, obviously. And it's just like, well, you know, maybe you have to be really
Yeah.
consistent and have lots of videos. It's like, yeah, but think about your favorite creator. What day of the week do they always release? It's like, I have no idea. All I know is if I see a video for them, it could be 2 months in between them. I'm all over it. Like,
Yeah.
that's
The
actually what matters.
the only uh YouTuber that I cared about was Jenna Marbles on
Yeah.
Thursday. What was it? It was like
I,
a new video every Thursday, but sometimes Wednesday. Like that was her
yeah.
thing. That was the only one I actually remembered. Like, cause I tried to do the scheduled thing on YouTube, and that lasted like a week. And I as soon as there's a schedule, I'm stressed. Like I can't work like this. I can't work in these conditions. So now I'm just going on like, okay, what am I creatively driven by, and am I creatively motivated? Um and let's take all these wacky ideas and funnel them just into one thing. And I think that's helping me a lot um with my scatterbrain.
Great. Well, it sounds overall incredibly healthy. I suppose on the back of that, if you were to give advice to anyone who's looking at, for example, at what you're doing and being like, I want to do that. I want to become a singer in a band or solo stuff or do YouTube, whatever it is. What do you think you might have learned in the time you've done it? You're like, this key will help you massively if you just use this key to unlock some pearls of wisdom.
I think first and foremost, lead anything you do, lead it with kindness. And word of mouth is quite powerful. And I think like if you lead and with everything you do, everyone you talk to, just be a good person. Be like, there's no reason to be hateful. There's no reason to be a diva. There's no like, you're not better than anyone else. Like lead with kindness, and that will get like karma will come back to you in some way, shape, or form, for better or for worse. And I think like calculating, because obviously we make music and we have to like try and get people to listen to it, especially in an oversaturated social media space where everything feels like an ad now. I tell like young creators, if you're gonna go viral for something that you like or something that you already are good at. Because like if you go viral for like, you know, something random, and not the thing that you're trying to do, you're a little stuck there. So like if you're gonna blow up, make sure it's for the thing you're good at and for the thing that you want to do. So if you're good at singing, try and just sing. Do the singing thing. Um and I did like a little, I talked to a couple classes at Middle Tennessee State University because they have like one of the biggest like recording music audio recording programs in the country, and a lot of them talked about content creation, and I was like, just do what you love, because if you go viral for something that you love, you're going to be very happy. That's like my best advice.
Yep, that sounds sage advice indeed. And I think the same thing applies to what we were saying earlier on about tuning into the kind of music that you want to make and yourself and your strengths, because you could be successful sooner by doing something that maybe is not quite your thing. But would you rather that or have a thing that takes 10 years but is exactly what you want to do and you can do that forever? Like, sometimes that's the choice. But the other path doesn't seem like it's guaranteed.
Yeah, I call it life on hard mode. Like
that's good.
Like, sure, you could take the like do the quick easy thing, but you're gonna eventually hate it, and you're gonna hate yourself, and sure, you're gonna have all these followers, but like, are you happy? And most of the time, if not all the time, the answer is no. And when the joy is gone from art, that's when you know it's not genuine anymore. So it's like, set yourself up so that you love it. You know, if you love your job, you'll never have to work a day in your life. So like, that applies to content creation. Like, so many of my friends have got stuck in this cog of this cycle of like, I have to do this now. I have to do it. And it's like, you don't. Just don't. Like you don't have to be unhappy, but it's hard when you get stuck in like a cycle of like, yeah, but the views. Yeah, but the this. And it's like, yeah, but for what? You hate it. Like, do it, like, do something you love. And then you'll be way happier.
Yeah. It's one of those tricky things in life. It's like it's harder to tell the truth on the face of it. That seems like the harder option, but actually long term, way easier to just tell the truth.
Yeah, it's like investments. It's like investments. Like, the growth is going to be slow. Like, but invest in something stable. And I'm not an investor. I'm not an investor. Don't take investment advice from me. But like, slow burn. And eventually you're going to cultivate like a community, and the people around you are going to rally. And and I'm not perfect by any means. Like, I have had many times where I'm like, oh, I'm failing. I'm not, oh, like, I've been doing this for 15 years and I'm not where I should be. Or like, why does this new person get to have this? And why does this person has 1 million followers? It's like, it's all optics. Like, at the end of the day, are you happy? And are the people around you, like, do we all respect, like, do you have respect? It's like dignity and respect and integrity, I think, are priceless in this line of work anyway. Like, or with anything.
With anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in my universe, a similar thing where I love discovering new bands. As much as I love enjoying the bands that are successful, I also happen to like their music. And you'll have something where because I do reaction videos as well, and something will just go massive, and friends of mine will be like, oh, do more of that, cover more of that. And I'm like, no, I want to cover the new bands as well, the ones that might not get the views, like, because that fills me up. And then now I've got a platform where people come to me for the new band. So I have more of the joy that I like. Is like, it's taken longer because I haven't just gone on all the stepping stones of the typical ones, but it's so much more fulfilling. For
sure. And like, you love it at the end of the day. And like, I think the the personal like payoff is so much better when you do it because you love it, and then people are here because you did something you love, instead of like going for the easy grab, like the low hanging fruit, which I respect a lot. And I think that's really admirable that you're doing that, especially in like another oversaturated part of, I think, like content creation, which is the reaction part of it. I respect that a lot. So like, um, good on you. Good on you.
Thanks. Well, yeah, it feels less like a choice as time goes on. It's
Yeah.
a compulsion. Is what I enjoy. That's what I'm going to do.
Hell yeah.
I want to do this in a way that I can do it forever because it's fun. I don't want it to not be fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want it to be
Perhaps is
fun.
exactly. And then again, it's not even just a content thing or a music thing. Everything in life, like that's try and choose a thing that will ultimately be fun for the longest. Now, as we kind of wrap up here shortly, I wonder if we could pivot also to something that is fun. Some of the covers you've done have been wildly amazing. There's two that stuck out to me in particular. The Linkin Park one with Giving Up. Did you do a test run of Can I Do the Long Scream before I even approached this? Or you're like, fuck it, I'll just try it?
I was like, okay, so now how I approach covers is like, I want to make sure that obviously it's a song I love. It has to be a song I love. Or am I going to bring value, like new value to a song? Because like so many people have covered Linkin Park and given up to showcase, like, you know, whatever, like whether they sound a lot like Chester, whether they want to like bring something new. So I've kind of like been very picky with covers, and I was like, you know what? I don't even why did I pick that song? I was like, I want to see if I could do that. So the scream that you hear on the recording was the one and only one that it was the first one and the last one, because I was like, I know if I hold this thing out, like I'm either going to blow my voice or it's going to fail, and then I won't have the stamina to do it again. So I was like, cuz it's not a one take cover. I knew that I wasn't going to do it like the whole song in one take. I just wanted to truthfully see if I could just do the really long scream. So I just took the bridge section and I just hit record, and I was like, all right, let's see what happens. And then it was a one and done, and I was like, okay, I can do the rest of the song now, because I could do that. And it's hard. I tried to do it again. It failed. Like, it is truthfully like you kind of know, like as soon as you ramp up into that scream, you kind of know right away if you're going to be able to hold it for the full thing, because if your placement, like where your voice is, if it's a little bit out, you will lose the pressure that builds up and sort of the airflow that you need, because it's very specific. It has to be in a certain spot, uh, and the air has to be like coming out in a very specific way for to hold it and sustain that tone for that long. So yeah, it was a one and done, and then I was like, okay, yay, we did it. We can do the rest.
Well, that's great. And then just a final one. I saw your cover of the Pink Pony Club, and I just thought, seeing you in the kind of pink onesie rocking out with the guitar, I'm like, I could just see like that. It looks great, like super fun. But also, I see the filming process, and I see you there being like, all right, I guess will be people walking around like here. But what is the most fun you've had in putting together a video? Like, fuck it, I'm just going to do this. It's going to be a riot.
Yeah, like I love that song, and I had loved that song for so long. And I've always like, but even before I recorded it, I was like, I'm buying a onesie, I'm gonna play in the park, and we're gonna get done with it. And like it was just literally out in the back, like there's a park behind my house, and it was like 90 degrees outside. Like it was hot that day. So we did it in like 4 filming takes, and I was like, I gotta go inside because I'm passing out. Like this is too much. But I think like over time, like with doing covers and stuff, just circling back to like the fun element, like I am not a serious, like I've never been really like a serious artist. Like, which I think a lot of metalcore is like very serious. It's like, no, we're but like I am serious, and I have a lot of heavy shit in like my lyrics, but like I am at the core a very like goofy, unhinged person. So like I need to get the sillies out in some way. So I was like, okay, chaperone in the park in a onesie. I think I can jam out to this one in a way that like will bring a lot of people joy. And now like people are sending me videos of like playing that version, like my version at like their weddings. And it's so funny to me because we made that cover in 2 days. And it was like a blast. And I'm like, now it's at people's weddings. And I could not be happier because it's so much fun. Yeah.
Well, as we've been chatting here, it's all very in keeping with the same thing. I suspect that is why you've ended up with the amount of traction you have on the content you've made and the music you're making is by leaning in. It is the moments where you lean into the things you're doing for fun, the strengths you have, and that uniqueness is what is drawing people in. So
Thank
more
you.
of that. I'm really looking forward to
Appreciate
seeing what happens with your future songs and this album you're kind of working on. More power to you, and best of luck with that as and when that comes out.
Thanks, Steve. I really appreciate you taking the time to let me vent like the unhinged self person that I am. So I appreciate you.
All good. It's been a joy. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I enjoyed having it. It was a treat to spend that time with Lauren and find out more about her perspective on life and content, but also, importantly, the new music that she's creating and her kind of creative process there. Make sure you check the description of this episode. There'll be links to Lauren's platforms. You can go and follow her and keep up to date with her future bits and pieces that she will be doing there. There's also a link to my Discord server if you want to come and chat with me about music. It's a lovely community we have over there where you can talk with like-minded folks with nuanced conversation. You can dislike bands that other people like, and it's perfectly civilized. So consider joining there. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe to this podcast if you want more interviews like this, and hopefully I'll see you in another interview very soon.